right, good evening, everybody. It is 6 p.m. I'll call our August 10th City Council meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Ortega.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lauer.
Here.
Councilmember Thompson. Here. Councilmember Estes.
Here.
Councilmember Applegate. Here. Councilmember Geek.
Here.
Councilmember Duncan.
Here.
All 7 members present.
All righty. Okay, we'll just get moving into it. We are on item 4, presentations. And we're going to start off with a recognition of Battalion Chief Ryan Torres for being the first ever Fountain Fire Department person to achieve fire officer designation through the Center for Public Safety Excellence. Chief Maxon. Yeah.
All right, good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. The Fountain Fire Department places a big emphasis on professional development and education. It is my leadership practice as the fire chief to make sure that we invest heavily in our members so that they can provide high-quality emergency services to our residents. We are recognizing Battalion Chief Ryan Torres this evening for obtaining his credential as a designated fire officer through the Center for Public Safety Excellence. He is the first in the city of Fountain to obtain this credential. In 1986, the International Association of Fire Chiefs and the International City-County Management Association came together to develop a framework for continuous improvement of the fire and emergency service and form the Center for Public Safety Excellence. And I just want to read to you real quick the press release that came from the Center for Public Safety Excellence. Battalion Chief Ryan Torres has successfully completed the process that awards the professional designation of fire officer. The Commission on Professional Credentialing met on April 6th, 2021 to confer the designation. Battalion Chief Ryan Torres becomes one of only 555 fire officers worldwide and only one of 54 in the state of Colorado. The designation program is a voluntary program designed to recognize individuals who demonstrate their excellence in 7 measured components, including experience, education, professional development, professional contributions, association membership, community involvement, and technical competence. In addition, all applicants are required to identify a future professional development plan. The Fire Officer Designation Program uses a comprehensive peer review model to evaluate candidates seeking the credential. The Commission on Professional Credentialing awards the designation only after an individual successfully meets with the organization's stringent criteria. So this is a major milestone for Battalion Chief Torres and the City of Fountain Fire Department. I was part of putting his packet together, which took him months to do. I can attest that he put a lot of effort into this. It is not easy, so it's absolutely amazing that he got this credential. And I just want to tell you a little bit about him. Battalion Chief Ryan Torres has been with the Fountain Fire Department for 22 years and currently commands B Shift. He has been a battalion chief since January and a captain from 2019 to 2021. And he was a lieutenant from 2013 to 2019. He has initiated several changes within the Fountain Fire Department that continually improve our operations, mainly in the area of firefighting and things from the type of hose we use, the size of the hose we use, the calculations that go into that hose, to our firefighting nozzles, but he's always forward-thinking and always has the best interest of the citizens of our city in mind. And many of you know him, and so you know these things to be true. So Battalion Chief Torres, it's a pleasure to present you with your fire officer designation. And I would like to say that we have 3 other people in the department that were just recognized last week. We'll be coming the next few months to recognize those individuals as well. And Battalion Chief Torres, I look forward to seeing you earn your Chief Fire Officer designation in the next couple years.
Yeah.
I'd like to say thank you
to my family first and foremost. They support me in everything I do.
Good speech.
Chief Maxon, the leadership that you've shown the fire department is exceptional. Myself and the other chiefs wouldn't be here without you. Mayor Ortega, you were part of this as well.
Oh, yeah.
So I appreciate the letter of recommendation to seal this up, and look forward to moving on to the next venture, pushing the city forward. So, thank you.
Can we take a picture? Are they good for a picture?
If you want to, yeah. Yeah, I just, they want to take a picture, but before, you know, Ryan asked me to do this, it was like, he asked me, I'm like, without question, you don't even ask, just tell me when to do it. And, but, you know, over 20-some years of service to the city of Fountain, and ever since I've been doing this and gotten to know you over the years and watching you kind of grow in the career and to your profession has always been, you know, your commitment's been second to none, and something I am very proud of, and for what it's worth. And but you know, I've heard a lot, especially through the Olympics and other places, but iron sharpens iron, and you're kind of that example of what that looks like. And even just the folks that are here that from the department, that you all sharpen each other and that work and moving forward. And I appreciate, I speak on behalf of the council, I know they all agree, and but thank you for, you know, taking the risk and doing it and moving forward, and we can't wait to see the next level and how that goes, and thanks to Chief for bringing that culture to this department in the city, so we appreciate that a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to the on-duty crews.
Yeah.
Yeah. During dinner time.
Hey, listen, we want to get you without your hat.
Can we do a picture with the council and him? Would that be okay?
Council, come on down. You don't get a choice. Sam, be careful.
Poor guy.
Chief?
You want to smile it? Too late? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you. All right, thanks a lot, Chief, for bringing that to us, and love celebrating everybody there. So thanks for all your hard work, everybody, and for keeping us safe. All right, our next presentation is from the Homefront Military Network, and I saw Miss Kate Hatton here and Miss Sally Clark.
I almost said good morning. That's the kind of day I'm having. So thank you for your time. I very much appreciate your time. Mayor Ortega and council, thank you for having us here. I wanted to, I'll go through these slides real quick if that's okay. I'll try and, next slide, please. Is someone chart? Okay. So in case you aren't familiar, Homefront Military Network is the product of a merger between the Homefront Cares and Peak Military Care Network. In January of 2020, we merged after about a year's worth of due diligence, really to streamline access to services. The two organizations realized that we could probably do better together and do more in a streamlined and efficient way. So we joined forces, and then the world shut down. So now we're making the rounds. So thanks for the opportunity to be here. And really what that does is it enables us to do more, provide the services and the mission of both organizations under one umbrella.
Oh, great.
Next slide, please. So what we do is we connect service members, veterans, and families to resources offered by our trusted community partners and provide emergency financial assistance. And what that really means is a broad-based approach to making sure that we can meet, that often come in the door for financial assistance needs, but many folks have more than that, and really trying to kind of peel back the onion of what the needs are and work with our trusted network of partners to provide anything from early care and education to help with family members who maybe struggling, have Alzheimer's or things. And so, and everything in between, behavioral health, employment, and really working with the whole, range of services to active duty service members and their families who are moving here and don't know the resources in the community, to National Guard and reservists, to veterans, whether they got out yesterday, they're getting out next week, or they got out 30 years ago. Next slide. So specifically what we do is the direct assistance we provide is that emergency financial assistance, and really the goal is to not help just this month and there's still going to be a problem, but to really look at the holistic needs and make folks whole long term, so that we can make that bridge and work with them to make sure that they are able to sustain and be financially sustainable moving forward. And part of that is really that resource navigation piece. Again, I mentioned multiple needs, or really it's the challenges folks maybe didn't apply for VA benefits, or just didn't know that they might have access to Head Start, free childcare, free preschool, that would enable, if someone have time to get a second job or a family member to work, or to, again, provide that good care while somebody, to provide that help. But whatever needs, we look at sort of the full range of needs and try and put those resources together for families. And it is very individualized to that individual. And the education and outreach, because half of the battle is people don't know what's available to them. Or the good news is this is a pretty resource-rich community, and people just are overwhelmed that there's so much thrown at them, and we can kind of help bring some order to the madness. Don't know where to start, we can help connect the dots. And then also educating our partners, the community partners who may not work directly with, or not used to, or don't, they're not solely serving military and veteran families, so we can help provide understanding of military and veteran culture, what military families are going through, and what they need to know to better serve. Next slide. How we do that, a lot of what we do, thank goodness, is web-based and call-in information assistance, because our team is actually still working remotely and has since March of last year. And so our Network of Care website has really a lot of resources online. So if people can advocate for themselves and know what to look for, they can search through our service directory, our community calendar, employment resources, and find key services. Or they can reach out to us. There's an online form there that says, I don't know what I'm looking for, I don't know how to find it, can you help? And our case managers can follow up with them. Or people can call in, and we provide that financial assistance, particularly statewide, so that if someone's calling from Grand Junction or Greeley or wherever, the people know they don't have to come to our office. We can work with them, email, text, whatever it works, we'll make it work. And again, really the best way is to reach us. We have a hotline, our 577-7417 number, as well as, again, that I mentioned, that online form where people can connect with us, and then our email account. So really the goal is to get people to connect to us any way that works for them.
Yeah.
Next slide, please. Sorry, so you have a question or just?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I was
all right,
agreeing.
Okay. And then broad-based, again, so we can provide and connect those dots, and our case managers are great and have a lot of knowledge about what different resources are available, but connect them to the VA and military installation resources as well. And then the partner agencies really cover everything else, benefits assistance through the County Veterans Service Office, to resources for seniors, whether it's the Fountain Valley or the Area Agency on Aging. And then again, really the whole range of services that our network provides. Next slide, please. That's the network that we have at this point in time. So hopefully that's a good snapshot for, the breadth and depth of the network. We did not add any partners in 2020, so we're looking at adding again to make sure. 2020 was a year that we've all experienced, but just working with the merger and everything else. So now we are looking to make sure that we have the right amount of resources based on the services that we provide and how to connect folks to. Next slide, please. Collectively, again, looking at what the Homefront Cares and Peak Military Care Network did now together, and then the network, collectively, just the two organizations, now one, have provided more than 210,000 service members, veterans, and families with assistance, and more than $5.8 million in financial assistance since the organizations exist. 2004 was when both organizations initially formed and have combined. And the network has assisted more than 420,000 service members, veterans, and families. And again, those could be duplicated services because someone might be going to Pikes Peak Community College and then getting other services from other places. So it is that's the full spectrum of needs that people have and services that are being connected to. Our community does a lot for our service members, veterans, and families. The other thing we provide trainings to the partner network, as well as military and VA who participate in our monthly trainings, and that's really to make sure they have the tools in their toolbox to better serve. If someone's an employment agency, we're not gonna make them experts in the GI Bill, but they're gonna know enough to connect, and they don't know how to do it. We don't do it, instead of saying, but good luck with, say, we don't do it, but we know who does. And so make those connections, or understanding, what deployments mean for military families and those sorts of things. So 1,800 folks we've trained over the past 7 years. Next slide. Some of our direct assistance impact, the big numbers you see was what happened in 2020, and a lot of agencies experienced this. We had about a 300% increase in calls for assistance. It was a big year. 60% of those were affected by COVID. The number's gone down a little bit, about 45 to 50% now calling us saying they're impacted by the pandemic. Most people call us for financial assistance, but we send them out for more than that. So we can't provide all that financial assistance. We work with partners who do, or it may not be, actually they don't need financial assistance. They need other things that are more cost avoidance or financial coaching to get them out of challenging situations. So we look at that broad range of needs. And really that network is increasing. Folks are referring to each other more and more, again, just because there's more communication around, hey, we know who can help you in addition to what we do. So people are asking better questions and connecting to better services. Next slide. One of the things that we found, again, people, 60+% said that they were calling for financial assistance, and again, we connected to multiple other services. In a typical year, about 10% of our callers, so they really need more navigation support. They have many needs and complex issues going on with their family. In 2020, 36% of folks needed that level of attention. The calls and the cases are much more complex. People are very stressed and challenged, and so we really saw a big need to really spend more time and really work with families for a longer time. It wasn't a simple kind of 2 weeks, we're gonna stick with you, you're gonna be fine after that. It might be several months, or longer, 1 to 2 years if it's needed. So we stick with them as long as they need help. Next slide. The impact of that financial assistance isn't just that immediate. We do keep people from becoming homeless or losing their utilities. We help them keep their transportation, their car, so they can get to medical appointments or to their job so they don't lose their job. But it really has an impact on their overall health and well-being. It makes a big difference in their stress and anxiety levels. And immediately, more than 91% said they had immediate relief in their stress and anxiety. That's kind of a family stability issue as well. And 6 months later, 98+% said that they, had lower stress levels thanks to the assistance that they receive from us. So that really shows the impact beyond just we helped pay a bill. Next slide, please. And that's a little hard to read. Hopefully you've got copies that we can get to you as well. But that's the collaboration piece. Again, it's really that force multiplier, how we're all working together in that collaboration. And what our partners tell us is that what we do really helps them better serve our military and veteran community. The trainings that they get, the connections that they make, it really helps improve collaboration, understand the needs of our military and veteran community, and better serve. Next slide. I'm almost done, I promise. Some examples of, again, we kind of consider our customers, if you will, are those who need assistance, but also the partner agencies, because we really want to make sure that they have the resources and the tools they need to better serve. And so those are just a couple of testimonials from some of the folks that we work with. Again, it's really about making more than a difference than just, like I said, just paying a bill. Next slide. We've had some events. We've missed a couple. One of the things that, again, we're trying to do this year, now that we have the opportunity to get out there, is remind people. People may remember the Homefront Cares or Peak Military Care Network, and rather than go, what happened to those organizations? They combined into Homefront Military Network. So that's the message we want to reiterate. And so we have had a couple events that we just passed. And then we have Healthy Together Week, again, really a focus on health and well-being. So I'll let Sally talk about those. I'm stealing her thunder. I forgot, Sally. I'm sorry. So anything else you want to add? Sally chairs our event committee.
She does fine. Mr. Mayor and council members, thank you. I'm Sally Clark, and just to let you know, I'm a volunteer with Homefront Military Network, and I run the events committee as the chair. It's really the only organization at this point that I feel really committed to, that I'm just working directly with Kate and all the events that we're doing. One of the things, as some of you may remember, on Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments, the Network of Care came out of PPACG and was formed to act as a hub to connect a lot of these partner services. And then along came Homefront Cares, and where we are today in joining those two organizations to, again, as Kate mentioned, provide direct assistance as well as the hub for assistance for whatever they may need. I don't need to explain to you how important our military is in the community, because you are well aware down here in Fountain and your proximity to Fort Carson, the struggles that young families have. And me as a military wife remember very well when my husband went off on a ship for 6 months and left me when I was 20 years old. I'm trying to figure out how to repair something at the house. And luckily I had a support family close by, but not all of these young families do. And so the assistance that we give, I think, is so important, and that it provides that navigation to talk to a real person who can work through and really identify benefits that you may be eligible for. So that's the importance of it. How can you help us, I think, participate in some of the things that are coming up? And maybe your thing may be pickleball, and maybe it's going to be a fun run or walk. It's okay to have fun and walk at the same time. Or maybe it's a little more relaxing and yoga in the park. Our events are located on our webpage at homefrontmilitarynetwork.org, and you can look at that and all the different events. We do have them opened up for registration at this point, and those will be held at Bear Creek Regional Park, the county's park this year. In addition, we have our hallmark, I think, event coming up again, hopefully in person this time, the Honoring the Brave breakfast that will be held at the Broadmoor. There will not be a charge to attend for the breakfast, but we do expect those folks to write checks while you're there. Very much a model where you come for free breakfast, but then you help the organization as well. So we're very excited. I'm very excited to work with Kate and her team to continue to support our military service members, veterans, and families in whatever way we can. The other way you can help us is spread the word. You have a lot of folks in this community, obviously, that may need our services, and they may not be aware of Homefront Military Network. And we don't want to be the best kept secret. We want to be the best known organization to help those military service members, veterans, and their families. And if you want to help us with financial assistance, that's great too. But we really want your support in essentially talking about the organization and making sure that it stays strong. And as we look to these events, it's to help us continue to be sustainable. We take in a lot of grants. We work with various organizations that provide assistance and their sponsorships. But the events help keep us sustainable, in addition to providing additional navigation services, which are so significantly needed, especially when you look at the numbers of a 300% increase last year over the previous year. That makes a big difference, especially in the economic challenges that we're facing today. So I'll end right there, and certainly Kate is here to answer any detailed questions that you might have. I thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for your service. This has been a challenging year for all of us, and it's not easy to sit in your seats. Thank you to the fire department, police department, and all the city administration for working so hard to keep things afloat.
Well, thank
One thing
you.
I forgot to mention too of the calls, and I was looking at this year's calls, in general, I mentioned statewide, about more than half of the calls that we get are from the El Paso County, Pikes Peak region. About 20 to 25% are in the Denver area, the rest of the bulk of the state. About 3% of the calls through the first half of this year were from Fountain. So people are hearing about us. And so that's kind of typical with the kind of the population breakdown, but so people are hearing about us, which is great. We want to connect them, but we want to make sure that lots of people know about us. So.
Yeah, well, we understand the value of what you guys do, and you were a big help when John and was really working hard on the employment fair that we had, and pre-COVID, obviously, and we got to go out to the dinner or the breakfast, and that was a fun event, and just to be able to go and be a part of that as well. So we'll keep plugging away for you as much as we can, and I saw some people writing some dates down too, and hopefully we'll try to make some of those events as well. But yeah, I think you and I got to take a trip down to San Antonio with the Air Force Reserve a couple years ago, and
So, right, that's right,
yeah, and watching what they did down there at the joint base, I wanted to bring a lot of that back here, and I think we've really been working hard regionally to start putting that together and serve our enlisted and veterans a million times better than what they've gotten here. So we want this, and we know this is a destination, but we want it to be like that. And knowing that folks like you are out there providing these supports, because I speak from family experience and just the overwhelmingness of things, and once you find that one person that can kind of help you navigate and who's been through it's a million times better. And trying to get someone like me who doesn't know the system, but having someone who's been through it and do all that's been a great help. And I hope those numbers, at least in the Fountain area, grow for you. And that means, like you said, it's getting out there, that word's out there, and people are utilizing those services. So thank you for all the hard work you've been putting into this all these years. So
and share that. Happy to steal ideas from any community that works.
Yeah.
So happy
Right.
to do that. So thanks.
okay, all right. No questions. Okay,
Appreciate
thank
your
you.
time. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. All right, awesome stuff. All right, our next one is an update from the Fountain Valley Chamber of Commerce. We have President James Flowers with us, and Mr. Trilch, I don't think he had anything. Go ahead, Mr. Flowers.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, and those of us in attendance. I'd like to first say I want to thank the city and the council for the partnership that the chamber has with you all. Without us working together, so many things that we have planned and have created through the chamber could not be possible. That going forward, we'll let you know that we will be having our fall festival and parade this year, September 6th. Nothing's going to stop that. Our theme this year is Dancing Through the Decades. So with a one knee or two knees, come on and join us and dance a little bit, folks, and have some fun. Oh, trust me, I got two knees to make one half. So we also have increased the partnership with the chamber. We're now in the partnership with the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, that they will, effective October, be providing us with business training here in the Fountain area. We have a location set in which they will actually send their business consultants down, and each month they'll have a different topic that'll be taught to the business community, free of charge for all chamber members. In conjunction with that, we actually have started a partnership with the Pikes Peak workforce that's going to be emphasizing on the business specialists coming to help us as well, along with the military spouses finding opportunities, orientation for jobs as well. We just as of last week completed our partnership with the Fort Carson ACS program, Army Community Service, in which we'll be now speaking, the chamber will be speaking every month at the military spouses orientation, letting people know that it ain't about the spring, because Fountain is the thing. At the same time, we will also be speaking at the TAP orientation and closing for the week, because when folks leave the military, they want to know what they can do with business or community they can join. And we don't want them going to the springs that they're living in Fountain. We want them to stay in Fountain, know that we have the support that they need to build their business or have their family here as well. In conjunction that we also have an approved, I'm sorry, we have, eyeball sometime. We have also started back out in-person business briefing, breakfasts every first and third Friday at the IHOP. We are maintaining up to 25 to 30 people at each of those meetings, and we're looking to find a second location because we're growing strong and we're moving out to grow, make more room for everybody. We have new endeavors for our members. Our members have a new advertisement package that we actually have already released. The advertisement package, they're going to have special things like they're going to have a text number, so you can text 777 to talk to the city council if they're a member. And they have also advertisement that's going to be radio, paper, online. That's also being included in the package plan. We also have orientations that are live and can be actually recorded, sent to you. The orientation is going to show you all the benefits that you actually have in the chamber, whether you've been a member for 1 month or for the last decade. There's a lot of stuff that's been changed and updated in orientation that will be given to you. An orientation person will actually call you out. So, hey, Mayor Ortega, you're going to be the person we're going to talk about. Let's go and actually do your packet. And that's how the orientation is. We don't want you to just listen to stuff. We want to actually make sure what you have going on is being updated and presented correctly. Also, we are opening up and having new committees, not limited to, but more to come. We're going to actually have a veteran military committee. We're going to have a women-owned business, a minority, and an outreach committee. Ms. Yed is actually part of our outreach committee. She's actually been doing a great job so far. What we're trying to do is we don't want just everything that the chamber has going out and none in the community coming back. So we had the Peace Center Park with the police department. Chief came in and grabbed a couple of cases and left. But You can see it on his belly right now.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine. But we want to make sure things like that is known throughout the community, not just on word of mouth, but we need to utilize all that we have to offer within the chamber, within the city, within the council, to make sure everybody's available to get those things in here. We're also working on getting a satellite location. I just got through talking with the new El Paso County Health people today, which used to be the Beckett Center. We're looking to get a satellite room in which we can have the SBDC consultants come and talk to our members and actually have meetings with them here in Fountain. And I'm going to reach out to the Pikes Peak workforce to do the same thing as well. So we're actually building up the resources, we're building up the education and training to not have small business, but grow corporations that can build and grow Fountain as well. That being said, what can the council do? The council, city, and community can help the chamber by doing these things. Attending our events. If we have a breakfast, if we have a lunch and learn, or we have an after hours, please come out. Because the more you come out, the more you learn, the better it is for you to talk about what we're doing. Second, share what you do. We are not in the Secret Service. You can tell people what you're doing, folks. Where the chamber's growing. And third, if you are a business owner, organization, or person of influence, join the chamber so we together can grow Fountain to be the city it can be. That being said, I open the floor to any questions from the council or anybody in attendance.
No, I appreciate everything that the chamber's really been moving to, and you know, even just the new things that you're talking about now. And I have had the extreme pleasure to come out and speak with the chamber at the breakfast, and it's been a lot of fun. And I think I've gone 4 or 5 years, and that number has grown steadily at those breakfasts. And so, you know, there and always different faces, and you see a lot of the same as well. But you know that word's getting out there. And what I said at this last meeting was, this is the chamber the chamber today is doing what the chamber's supposed to have been doing all along. And so, you know, I appreciate everything that you guys do, and we definitely support everything that the chamber does, because it, like you said, it's growing Fountain and making it a destination rather than a drive-through. So thank you for your hard work as a leader and taking the reins over and keeping it moving forward. I mean, a lot of work on top of what you're already doing. So we appreciate it. So
that much.
Anybody else?
I just want to say I'm thrilled with everything that you're doing, and anytime I talk to a small business owner, I'm pushing you guys.
Yeah,
and I'm
appreciate
forwarding
that,
all
ma'am.
your emails to them to make sure they know when your meetings are and stuff, because it's a great resource.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah.
I do have one alibi. I'm sorry, go ahead, ma'am. Let you have your finger move. I have an alibi for the Fall Festival. I wanted to make sure that everybody knows we're going to have one special event going on. We're going to have a dunk tank. And we're so blessed to have the Chiefs volunteer themselves to be members of our dunk tank. Yeah, that's right. I called them out. I said, you guys need to help us out. So I've been told that the superintendent is working on getting a few of the principals to be voluntold as well. So we're going to have a great dunk tank. We're trying to find one that's 7 foot deep that we can actually get Chris to fit in, because he's quite a tall guy. All right. Yes. Yes, perfect. So are there any other questions or alibis? I may help anybody out with any questions?
Nope.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, thanks a lot, Mr.
Have a blessed
Flowers.
day.
Okay, take care. All right, yeah, and we're looking forward to the parade this year and having that again. That'll be nice to get back out, so. All right, we have no board committee appointments, so I'll move on to our city council agenda requests and announcements. I'll start with Ms. Duncan.
Good evening to everyone. I attended the AIM Education Ribbon Cutting and Open House, and that's an amazing building. If you haven't been over there, please stop by to see. They also have great equipment for the young people to go out and develop themselves outside. They have a lot of stimulus activities that are outside. I also attended the chamber breakfast where Kimberly Bailey, our own Kimberly Bailey, was an amazing guest speaker. And there are a lot of networking opportunities there, as we just heard, to meet potential business owners in the community. There were questions that we have heard and different comments that were being said about Fountain, about why we don't have a movie theater, why we don't have a sit-down restaurant. The same questions we keep getting, so just know that the interest is there. I also attended the American GI Forum Cinco de Mayo Scholarship. They have this scholarship every year, and it's for community leaders to host a reception where they award over $400,000 in scholarships to undeserved youth, and this was at the El Pomar Center. Also, the Youth Council is accepting applications. To help me spread the word, we meet next month in September. We also have a sponsor already for our lunch. We have a lunch and learn in September. The interest is still there. I have a lot of parents, people in the community. I also have a person that also helped requested to volunteer. So we are accepting applications and we are accepting volunteers.
Okay, great. Do you have a deadline on the applications or just take them as
No,
they come?
right now what we're trying to do is, because things are still in the air with COVID, we're trying to get the kids acclimated back into school. So, we just want, already, my son is scheduled for a retreat and that has changed. So we just want, the application is online. John is gonna put together a package for us, a marketing package, also for us to use on Fort Carson. There's an interest from Fort Carson about our program. So we're, if you're interested, we are accepting applications.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Mr. Geek, anything?
Just one point, last Friday I had a call from a parent up in District 20, and I just want to make sure that people understand that the health department is following the CDC guidelines as far as masks go at school, and it's becoming quite a nightmare for the people at the health department because they're not getting very nice phone calls. And so anything we can do to help make sure that we need to support the health department. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Applegate?
Nothing tonight.
Ms. Estes?
Just want to remind everybody that the museum is back open. We are open on Saturdays from 10 to 3, and we are really pushing for new members. If you're interested, please contact the museum. And we're just trying to get more volunteers and stuff. That we're in a process of getting a new computer system, and so we have a lot of opportunities for people to contribute in small ways or big ways if they would like. So that's all I have. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Nothing tonight for me, thanks.
Ms. Thompson?
Yeah, I had a lot of things I attended also, but the one thing that really stuck out that I thought really cool was on Purple Heart Appreciation Day, I attended the Purple Heart potluck that they had that day and just kind of hung out with them for a while and took another, not a Purple Heart recipient, but a friend of mine who was military, and they all sat there and just spoke like foreign language, and I just sat there and nodded my head. I figured that was probably the best bet at that point. But it's always exciting to get out and spend some time with that group of people and what they've done for our nation and our community. So.
Okay. I don't have anything tonight, other than a reminder that school started today, or yesterday, and so slowly but surely, I think, and at least in this district, they're kind of transitioning the kids in by grade level, something to that effect, and so by the end of the week and the next week, it'll be full-time again, so the traffic's back, all that stuff is back. And, what's that? The buses are... Yeah, make sure you're stopping for the buses, because it's amazing to see people drive by those stop signs. Whatever, I don't know. Okay, we will move on to city council, oh no, we did that. Public to be heard, citizens may address the council on items that are not on our agenda. We ask that you, or we may not be able to provide an immediate answer, but we'll direct staff to follow up. And out of respect for the council and others in attendance, we ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. I have 2 cards tonight. Mr. Bustamante from the VFW. Come forward, please.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, City Council, for allowing me to speak. I want to let everybody know that we turned 75 on Saturday. Wow. So we've hit a huge milestone. We are not the same VFW that everybody thinks of. We are open to the public, so anybody at any time is welcome to come through our doors. As long as you're willing to support veterans, you're welcome to come on down. This Saturday, we're going to open our doors at 10 a.m. And we're basically gonna have a party all the way until nobody wants to party with us anymore. We're gonna have some live bands. We're doing a pig roast. The pig is gonna be free. We got it all donated to us. We have some big raffles. We got some Bronco tickets. We got a shotgun. We were closed down last year, went into some debt just to stay afloat and keep helping veterans. And now we're trying to dig ourselves out and get back to where we were pre-COVID. So please come on out and support your local VFW.
All right. Well, congratulations on, so this branch is turning 75? Or,
Yes, so
okay.
the VFW right down here
Yeah.
is our 75th anniversary. I think we've been in this building for 38 years
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, it's been there for a while,
Oh,
Yes,
so.
we've been there for a while.
Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations. Wish everyone the best and have a good time.
Awesome, thank you.
All right. Thank you for the invite as well.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Mr. Chimino.
Council, I just wanted to, I don't know, I'm averaging about a ticket a week from the code compliance office. It's getting annoying. It really is. I've asked for advice from people in this room. I'm not going to point any fingers, but they basically laughed me off. The biggest blow was the fact that I had to shut down my Airbnb business because of the ticket that I got. Turns out the code compliance office came and interviewed everybody on my street, harassed my tenants, everything to make sure that I had closed down and everything like that. And then a day later, I get another ticket for not closing down. So I just want to know, when does it end? When can I be left alone? Oh, that's all I'm asking. Just to be left alone. I haven't done anything. And coming home once a week, once every other week to another new packet on my fence, on my front door, where my tenant, where the people that are staying with me, they can see it. Yeah, I'm sick of it. I'm almost at the end of my rope. I mean, I'm a very strong person. I don't break easily, but I'm about there, and I don't know what else to do.
Okay, what, are they separate?
Oh yeah. Oh, I have a stack at home about that thick. That I've gotten since I think it started in early last year when the city threatened to tow a car out of my driveway because the tags had lapsed, and it's been downhill ever since. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, this one is just the one that gets me because I explicitly was clear that I had shut down my Airbnb, that I had no more renters, that I did not need to get a business permit. I was not gonna, bend down and take it. And then I get this just a few days. It's dated July 13th of this year. Yeah. Yeah, about 2 or 3 days after, I told people, I told the code compliance office, I told people in this room that, that I had shut it down. I had done what they asked. And, yeah, I just, again, I don't know where it ends. I really don't. Like, seriously.
Were you supposed to provide proof that it was shut down, or other than you just saying that you shut it down?
I mean, I was running an Airbnb out of my house. Like, unless, I don't know how they got word or whatever of whether I was even running it. Like, it's the code compliance office they're leaving these notices on me. I mean, I tell them if they want to come into my house, once a week or something, to make sure that I'm not running an illegal business out of my house, they're more than welcome to. But I just want these to stop. None of my other neighbors get this. Like, I just want to be left alone. Like I said, at home, I've got a stack about this thick of these these red packets and these pink papers and envelopes and various bills that I've gotten from the city for this and that and the other. And I just want it to stop. And when I talk to people in this room about it, they laugh me off and tell me to, just shut up and deal. And I don't know. I don't know.
Mayor, I don't either. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me just, to not get into the details of this thing, Mr. Chimino, you've met with several of us, and the last thing we did was laugh you off and those type of things. You met with myself, you met with our city attorney, you met with Councilman Geek, and we all spent time with you and attempted to help you through this process. So I want to make sure that we're getting accurate facts here. So no one told you to laugh it off, and we took everything seriously and tried to give you advice on how to get this to stop. So the next step in
It's
this.
basically shut up and color, but continue.
Okay, everybody here knows that that wasn't what was said. But basically, your next step in this is to go to court and to deal with your citations through the court process. So that's really, since we've tried to help you verbally and told you the steps that you needed to take, really the next step for you is to go to court.
But I have. I shut down my business. I've done everything that you ask, and these packets still keep showing up at my house. Like, when does it end? When does it end? Like,
I guess that's what he's telling you, is you go to court and tell the judge that you did fix it.
Yes. And if it continues after that, I told you when I met with you, I'm willing to sit down with you as well as our code enforcement folks. They've done a very good job of documenting what has occurred, how it's occurred, and why it's occurred. So we're willing to sit down and go through the facts with you, but this isn't the appropriate setting, and our city council really doesn't have any effect, and they can't have any effect on a citation, nor can I. You need to go to court, and you need to go through the process.
Oh, well, see the usefulness here.
Okay. All right, I have no more cards. Anybody else would like to speak? Okay, we will go ahead and keep moving forward. We are on item number 7, our consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be approved with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen requests, in which case the item may be removed from the agenda and considered separately. We have items A, B, C, D, E, that's it. Oh, F and G. Council. Mayor Portillo.
Move to approve consent items A through G as presented.
All right, and Mr. Geek? I second that. Okay, Ms. Duncan, did you have anything, or were you just gonna, okay. We have a motion and second for approval of our consent agenda. Please vote.
7 yes, motion carried.
All right, thank you. We have no items under old business. We'll move on to item 9, did I say old business, new business? Okay, let me start over. No old business. We're moving to item 9, new business. Item 9B, resolution number 21-037, a resolution amending the appropriation of fiscal year FY 2021 budgeted funds. Mr. Lewis.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. We have an excerpt from the template information, the commentary on this amendment to the budget. And I'll start with this. I know at the last meeting that Scott Traynor had presented to you the fact that we were going to receive in excess of $7.7 million in American Rescue Plan funds. Half of that, in excess of $3.8 million, were already received. They were received this year. The other half will be received next year. There are certain restrictions on what we can spend those ARPA funds for. And so what he presented to you was, here are our thoughts on spending most of those funds in accordance with those restrictions. And so what we've done now is obviously you did approve moving forward with the guidance that was presented, but we still have to present them again specifically to you so that you can approve the expenditures in accordance with those revenue funds. So, you know, gee, we had the budget back in December 9th. We've had some amendments since then. But now, because of the contribution of ARPA funds, we want to get your approval on spending those funds in accordance with the restrictions. So if we could go to the next slide, please. We have put together details of spending on the general fund, the ambulance fund, and the transportation fund. And I apologize that the numbers in the resolution that you'll be signing are $2,809 more than what was given initially in the packet. Once we straightened out some of the amounts that were going to be due for the hazard pay to public safety and custodial staff, the amounts with the employee benefits and social security taxes, et cetera, came out a little bit different than what was initially presented. So you see here that in the general fund, we have received $3,862,618 as the first half of the ARPA fund grants. We would like to spend $138,000 on improvements to meeting spaces to meet future pandemic needs, $70,000 for ADA, Office of Emergency Management, and the Public Health South improvements, $250,000 for the third round of business impact assistance for our local fountain businesses, $54,000 for reimbursement. We were not allowed to receive late penalties for utilities last year during COVID, and some of those late penalties go to lighten the load. So those amounts can now be reimbursed to the Lighten the Load Fund. So that's $54,000. $5,000 for the move of recreation to Metcalf Park. $28,000 for Life Pack for the third ambulance. $101,359 is hazard pay to public safety and custodial staff, including benefits. $7,100 is transfers to the ambulance fund, and $5,350 is transfers to the transportation fund. And if we move to the next slide, please, you can see that both of those transfers to ambulance and transportation fund are also to cover premium pay for the transit drivers and hazard pay for the ambulance folks. So with that, I would ask that you approve Resolution 21037 so that we can spend a portion of this $3.8 million, in fact, $658,809 of the ARPA funds. We would like to spend the remaining $3.2 million. 809 will go into the general fund, and we will come back later with suggestions on how we might want to spend those funds with your approval that fall into the restricted lines that the guidance that ARPA has given us, that go along with the guidance that ARPA has given us. So with all that said, we would ask that you adopt this resolution.
Okay.
And are there any questions?
I have a city clerk button.
Real quickly, Mr. Lewis, it's my understanding that you did pass out an amended resolution tonight.
Yes, I did.
So, council, if you've viewed that amended resolution, if this item gets approved, please approve as amended.
As amended, okay. Any questions from council? Okay, any questions from public? All right, looks like it sounds simple enough. Ms. Duncan?
I move to approve resolution number 21-037 as amended.
All right. And Mr. Applegate?
Second.
We have a motion and second for approval. Please vote.
7 yes, motion carried.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. All right, correspondence, comments, and ex officio reports. Mr. Trainer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate it. Just have a couple of quick things I want to mention. We have redrafted an RFP in conjunction with Monument for lobbyist services, and this is for 2022. So we're going to continue to work through the budget process. We'll bring that back to the council to get authorization for funding, and then if the council's okay at that point, then we'll work with Monument to issue an RFP and hopefully have lobbyist services set up for next year well in advance. So I want to give the council a heads up on that. We're working through tons of budget meetings right now, going through the budget process, the internal departmental meetings, and we'll be seeing you guys shortly in our city council budget processes. We just want to give a heads up, September 21st, and I know this is well in advance, but just want to give everyone a heads up. Save the date for the Fountain Community Night in the park. We're excited to be able to go do that again. And then lastly, relative to trunk or treat, I just want to let you know that we're beginning that planning process, but trying to figure out, are we going to go back to trunk or treat the way we did it on Main Street for several years, or are we going to try to do the park thing again? The park thing was pretty neat. It was really neat, but it was also a lot of work, and it created some massive traffic issues. So we're going to be coming together and discussing, like, what's our next iteration of this? So just want to give you a heads up that we're working on that planning right now. And that's all I have.
What's the time on the community night in the park? Do you have that yet?
Normally, gosh, our folks over there are about around 4, but we're like 5 to 7 for the public.
Okay.
Just to, the trunk at the park or whatever it ended up being called. Fountain Fright Night, whatever y'all decide on. That was an event for the books last year, and I think the community so appreciated the fact that it was just something normal, you know, that the kids could do, and I just think our community really, really appreciated it. I know it was a ton of work on staff and different things, but it just, you know, thank you again to everybody who pulled that off last year, because it really put a few points in the love bank, I hope.
It was fun.
It was fun, and, oh my gosh, some of the stuff people brought out, gosh, code enforcement, their whole display down there was unbelievable. Some of us were in our little cars looking kind of sad compared to the other end, but it was a great event, so, yeah.
Seems like the negative is always traffic or the roads, one or the other. It's always right there. One thing I wanted to let everybody know, I didn't want to get into a back and forth, but with Mr. Chimino, Sam and Troy spent about an hour with him. I spent a separate hour with him along with Christy. Walked him through every way to take care of those issues and to solve those problems, which are typical code enforcement problems. They are reacting to complaints that are coming from the neighborhood, and they have done a very good job of documenting the hows and the whys to include his complaints. But the one thing I think that I failed to mention that might be important is as Christy and I were completing our meeting with him, I asked him, I said, Mr. Chimino, how are we going to take care of this to ensure that it stops again? And his response to me was, I don't care, just tell them to keep citing me. Okay. So there wasn't a whole lot of, then he met with Sam and Troy about a week later. Same response. So he hasn't wanted to take problems, and they're still citing him. So he needs to go to court. We'll keep working it.
Okay, Chief Maxon left, Chief Heber.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. You know, I always remember Fright Night of last year. It was the day we were bringing our daughter home from the NICU after 20 days, and a really smart cop told me, do not come anywhere near the park. It's an epic disaster down here, so we were able to vacate and be around the city and get home. So I know what a great night that was for our community. A lot of love in the love bank, and hopefully whatever we'll do, you know, we'll do a good event, class act like we always do. You know, overall, I was briefing on our team meeting today with the staff. Overall, the calls for service that I briefed you a couple of months ago have remained up. Specifically over the last 30 days, we've seen a huge spike in domestic violence in our community. And it parallels Fort Carson and their reporting. We looked at their crime stats. They've also seen a really big spike in domestic violence. Most of our cases are not military related. We always refer those cases out to the military to work with them to bring those two segments together to try and help the families. But violence has been up, and it's kind of a segment of earlier in the summer and where our society's at in pre-COVID, and just all of those things crescenting together. And a lot of people in our community needing help. So very good that we have the Beacon team, the Beacon unit. I try and send you the updates that I get, and we just really wanted the community to know how effective they are. We were able to send over to the paper and post them on social media, but they average somewhere between 10 and 20 calls a week. Suicidal check the welfare, suicide in progress, domestic violence, all of these type of medical calls are the calls they're responding to. They get 10 to 20 of them, and then when they're not doing that, they're going back and doing referral checks to make sure whatever suicidal safe plan they did, or they took somebody up to a mental health facility, that they're still okay, they're receiving services. So it's an ongoing, very good, comprehensive program. It was always our hope and wish we'd save a life, and already within a month, I think there's some people that are alive today in our community because we continue to show that. And all of those calls for service, no one has gone to jail, and none of those have become violent. And they've all been de-escalated, was exactly what we set out to do. So that program's working extremely well. Kudos to Chief Max and the fire department tonight. What a great achievement. We've so much to be proud there with Rhino being the first and 3 to follow. That department has come so far in a short time, and I think all of us have been around that department for so long are extremely, extremely proud and grateful, right, Sam?
Yes.
Like, we're really proud where we're at today. So, we'll just keep working hard. Cops are doing okay. The extreme violence that we were facing early on is kind of dissipated a little bit. That's good. They're staying busy. We're going through the hiring process right now to bring in the people that you authorized us to hire. We have some good candidates. We're going in the background phase. So a few of them are known to us that came in from other agencies, from the surrounding regions, including Colorado Springs. Hoppy finally got fed up to our suburb to the north and wants to come to the great city of Fountain. So we're going to welcome those individuals, bring them in, get them out in the police force, and continue to do everything we can to protect our community. We're doing a lot of active shooter training at the end of September and August. Todd, Scott, John, we've all been talking about, and I think I briefed you that, one of my concerns is that City Hall is a very soft target. We had potentially one very close call this last year with Scott and City Hall that we dealt with appropriately, I think, at the time, and de-escalated it. But, that goes into greater issues, so we're looking in the budget cycle on, armed security options here. We're gonna do a really good classroom session for active shooter and workplace violence. I'll make sure that I invite you to a couple of days, if you just want to jot down these dates. There's 28 September and 29 September. I'll make sure I put it on your calendar. We're going to do some lane training on one day that will really be focused on getting everyone through some realistic scenarios they would face at City Hall. If you want to come down, if you're free, I think that'd be great. And then on the 29th, we'll do our first really, certainly for a while, full-blown exercise where we actually have a threat and we actually respond from the city staff, from the emergency service department, and we execute all facets of that plan. The goal we've been talking about, and John's been really good on, he's already been coaching, teaching, mentoring some of the people at City Hall. Our goal at the end of the day is to make sure that the City Hall employees feel safer, that it's a positive experience, that they respond well, we respond well. We'll have some good learning points, but we really wanted to make it a good event for our city employees, because I think, as we started talking to them about it, there's some fear out there and some of it's real, and we just want to be prepared should that day come. In most communities, it's not a matter of if, it's when it will come, and we want to do the best we can to be ready for that day. So, I appreciate everyone's support on that, and thank you very much.
All right, thanks. Along with those stats with the crime, Greg and I were at the last FURA meeting, and don't know why, but the conversation came up around the rate of suicides as well. And Pastor Paul mentioned that, of all the funerals that they host there, the majority of them were suicides. And it's not an age group, it's across the board of what they've been dealing with. And so there's a lot of angst in this society right now, and it's affecting people really not in good ways. And so I think things like our trunk or treat or the drive-through, things like that will help bolster the community and make people, or help people feel more welcome, and hopefully alleviate a lot of that. Our Labor Day parade, those types of things, and getting back into that, I think will help some of that stuff too. So we'll keep moving forward. So Chief Maxon, you're back. Do you have anything?
I don't have anything.
All right. Thanks for coming. Troy.
Nothing from me tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Anything further, Mr. Lewis?
I just wanted to reiterate what, easy for me to say, what Scott Trainer has said, that we're very busy with budget meetings, and we are far ahead of where we were last year at this time. So I think the deadline is October 15th to first meet with you and give you the preliminary budget. I intend to be able to set something up sometime before the end of September so that we can present the 2022 draft budget to you. And that's all I have.
Other John. PPACG is probably going to send through a 10% increase on dues.
I'm sorry,
We
say that
haven't
again?
voted on it as a board yet, but they're going to probably send through a 10% increase in dues for PPACG.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right, Mr. Trilch.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. The only thing I have for this evening is I sent out an email to all of you earlier today just to mark your calendars for the September 1st strategy work session from 6 to 8, which you approved on consent this evening. So this will be the phase 2 of our strategic planning process, where we will update the strategic priorities for the next strategic plan. So this is probably the most important session of the whole strategic planning process, where we'll get a chance to have a good discussion about what the community would like to get done over the next 3 years and kind of set those priorities. So if you have any questions, just let me know, and we'll look forward to seeing you and the public and anyone else who wants to participate on September 1st from 6 to 8 p.m. here at City Council Chambers. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Ms. Yolanda, anything from IT? No, nothing. All right, Ms. Rosa, anything from ADA stuff?
ADA, I went to my symposium a couple weeks ago, learned a lot. We have a lot of stuff to do, and I wanted to thank all of you in person for supporting our transit drivers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm glad that worked out. Good. All right, awesome. And Ms. Huffman?
Just to let everybody know here and public that we still have petitions available for all 4 seats for City Council. So deadline to have those turned in with all 25 verified signatures is August 23rd. So you still have time to pick up a petition and submit it. That's all I have.
Okay. All right, Ms. Duncan, anything further?
Just a few things. Cleanup Fountain Community Activists is having a book swamp on August the 14th from 10 to 1 in Metcalf Park, where you can donate, swamp, or take any books. And I've also been looking online, and they've been talking about our new skate park and the trash that's been left out there. So, a lot of work went into making that happen. So if we use the park, if we can please just keep that clean. And I'd also like to say I attended my first PPACG meeting, and thanks to you, Scott, for sending out those reminders. Thank you.
Mr. Geek?
Nothing tonight.
Mr. Applegate?
Nothing tonight.
Ms. Estes?
Just a quick reminder that we have in September, we're going to have a busy month. It's our annual Creek Week. We'll be starting September 25th, going through October 3rd. So be ready to hear more about the events that are happening with that with the Fountain Creek Watershed District.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Well, and since Tamara just said that, I have nothing, so thank you.
Ms. Thompson? All right, I have nothing. We are meeting again on the 24th, and we are adjourned.